We'll call Waste Management Monitoring Committee meeting to order. Roll call. Wait a minute. Yeah, roll call.
All righty. Where did my list go? Marvin Wolf.
Here.
Willie Kiefer.
Here.
Melvin Hebron.
Here.
Belinda Costa.
Here.
Sudarshan Sharma.
Here.
William Fays.
Here.
Also present are Joe Spear from the GSA Environmental, Brad Vanderkin from Waste Management, and Ryan Baton from Waste Management.
Okay.
And the meeting's posted in accordance with the open meeting law.
Move on to approval of the minutes from our February 3rd meeting. Everybody should have got a copy of that in the mail.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, by signifying by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Not hearing none. Motion passes. Public comment period. Not hearing any. We'll move on. Financial report. Everybody should have got a copy of that. Any questions on the financial report? Not hearing any. Do I have a motion to approve?
I will.
Do I have a second?
I will.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, motion passes. New business. Joe Spears.
So, it's well sampling time. Since there isn't a discussion on it, I gave the labels for the mailing directly to Katie. When the mailings come back, then I bring it before the committee to discuss, which selections we use. So she's been given the labels so she can mail them off. The second thing on my list, well sampling, we've come to the end of a contract. It's my time to remind you guys that if you want a different contractor, now's the time to put it out for bid or add a proposal for this next cycle. And it also is the time to say, hey, are we happy with Davies? Ryan and I talked about it. I feel strongly that Davies is the right group. Waste Management was happy. And then for the normal audits, the landfill has been busy but quiet. I didn't do an audit today, but it smelled like garbage, so I get to say I have at least noticed offsite odors once so far this year. They're going to start back up in construction, both in the seeding of the cap and the excavation of additional cells. The operation's been, like I said, the gas system's been smooth. They put in new wells. When spring's done being wet, and everybody was talking about at the beginning of the meeting, they'll have a lot more activity. They can't do erosion repairs, they can't do excavations, they can't spread seed with wet slopes. And then my last thing is the annual report, which is the compilation of all the audits and a brief summary. And I realize that my boilerplate is poorly done because I know the rest of the report doesn't need any changes, but I've got the title wrong. So it really is the 2021 year-end report. Some of the important distinctions for this past year, we didn't have any what I call failed audits, when there isn't anyone on site to do the audits with. All the audits were done with Travis, Brad, or Ryan, and we're all aware, but we recorded it, that the transition of management went to I did make a correction for my future audits. I had identified Brad in numerous audits as the operations manager. He's the district manager.
I kind of just changed, so that's
Okay.
That's,
Your district manager?
I guess so.
There really weren't much in the way of complaints, only 4 made by the public, which is really, really low. For those of you that don't have the history, JSA got involved when there were over 200 complaints in 1 month. They had 1 rejected load, which I like to point out because rejected loads are a rarity now in the waste industry, and it was e-waste that was just, routed to the wrong location. So, Marvin has the copy for the library and a disc as well. Gave the disc to Waste Management. I think that covers all my reporting.
Okay, now I'm gonna bring up two things, okay. We'll talk about Davis Labs, because he brought it up. My experience with it, Davis has been doing really good for us in the years that I've been with him, you know, and that. So it's up to you guys if you wanna change labs or not, this whole thing.
I make a motion that we stay with Davis because we've had a good history with them, no problems, and I would continue on with them.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next item will be Joe Spear's contract.
That's what we'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Do we want to stay with Joe or do we want to go out for bids?
No, we wouldn't want to go out for bids, but we'd sure like to charge this next year.
I'm going to charge you the same amount I charged you this past year,
Oh.
plus whatever I can sneak under when you're not paying attention. No,
I like that.
JSA changed its rates last year. We're not going to be changing the rates this year. The level of effort is the same. I did do a check a couple weeks ago to make sure it require me any extra time. So I've got no reason to change it.
Okay.
Then I have no reason to change anything.
No.
I make a motion, we
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to have Joe Spears as our engineer, environmental engineer. Need a second?
I second.
Okay, okay, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, then Joe, get your contract up to date and we'll
Yep,
send
have
it
it
to
next
Jesse. And with my approval and the board's approval.
Okay.
That's one of your contracts, or?
Huh?
It's just for well sampling.
It's just for well sampling.
Well, so-
Yeah,
Yeah, I tried a couple years ago. I tried a couple years ago to write a 3-year contract and get you guys to pay up front, save all this money. Didn't fly, so we've stayed with the 1-year contract. But in the past, you have had contractors that have charged you $18,000 for this service, and I've just made it a habit that every time it's time, I remind you because we're the ones you had to find the people to bid on the first time. So it's not like we haven't competed for this before. But really, the only other company that's available that I would think could beat me in terms of a competition is ESC. And I don't think ESC likes to do anything across the street because they're involved with Emerald Park.
They do work for us.
Okay, all right.
so,
Do you work for the other side too, then?
Well, I work for the Muskego committee, just like this one. Raleigh on it, and a couple others, Annalise.
Oh, yeah.
I don't do their well sampling. ESC does theirs. ESC does theirs.
okay, any more questions from the board? Not hearing any, we'll move on.
I move to approve the audit report. Or do we need to have-
Yeah, okay, we need a motion to approve the audit report, which everybody copy of.
I motion for it.
Okay, okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, any nays? Not hearing any, motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to Waste Management's report.
All right. So we had DNR out on site on 328. At the same time, we were installing new gas wells, which is what I'll cover a little bit later here. But Jerry was on site. He wanted to see what we were doing for putting in the new gas wells on the North 60. And he also did a site inspection of our active on 328. And then he was also out on April 29th, which is after I sent this over to Kathy, and he did an inspection on our old hill as well. Both inspections went fine, no findings on those. So overall, that went pretty well. We also had an MMSD inspection today, so we've been getting quite a few inspections the last month, and all of them have been going pretty well. So as far as construction, we just pretty much finished up and hooked up 12 new gas wells that were installed over March or April. Ryan's got some big plans for construction in 2022. Nothing too crazy. We're not building a new cell, but we're gonna still continue excavating 3B. We're gonna extend that berm on 124th Street. So right now I'm in the process of working on getting those 3 buildings and Dorothy's house and 2 other buildings, doing some asbestos abatement, getting power disconnected, going through all the motions so that we can demo those, so we can extend that berm out this year yet. We also have a little area with a little bit of drainage that we're trying to improve on near the flare on the old hill. So that should help us move some water a little bit better. But that's all with clay that we're going to be pulling out of 3B. So we're going to be excavating 3B, building the berm, doing some work on the clay stockpile, and then filling in for some drainage. So that's kind of what the plan is for 2022 once this rain stops. As far as overall site operations, we're almost done with our fluff lifts, so we're still going to be doing another lift in cell 3A. We just got weight restrictions off a couple weeks ago, which means our overall truck volume should go down because trucks were having to haul lighter. To comply with the weight restrictions, so we were seeing a little bit more trucks than what we normally do to move the same amount of trash. We added some horizontal collectors for gas in cell 2B to help with odors and manage gases that are coming off of that trash. Residents have been pretty busy. I probably had the most stable workforce that I've had there for a while, so it's been the same people making sure that everyone's following the rules, and people from out of not in the area aren't dumping as well. But it's been very busy. We've been next week, Saturday, not this Saturday, but the week after, we're actually sponsoring the Lions Club to do some pickup in the area. So they're going to probably do a section of Loomis Road and some other areas around Loomis Road. So we're sponsoring that and partnering with them to get some trash picked up on the side of the road. We also did a sponsorship for youth baseball for the town of Raymond. So I think we're sponsoring.
And thank you again.
Yeah, sponsoring their concession stand for the next 3 years. So a little bit of community involvement there, but that's pretty much overall what we got going on.
Okay, with the berm, have you decided or talked to upper echelon about some vegetation on that as far as trees or something?
I don't think
Along 45.
I don't think trees are going to be in the program on it. Ryan,
It wasn't planned for this year. I'm not saying that we can't do that in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, I'm just saying that would be a good add-on to look at, some kind of vegetation along 45. You know,
just as a
on the berm.
How high is that berm gonna be? High enough
like
that
20
cars can't look in, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, eventually we're going to be going up. So
Oh, yeah.
That was part of the reason why we're looking at some vegetation. So people on 45 can't really see what's going on in the site.
So
And that's the old saying, out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
I mean, when they drive by and, like across the road there where the pine trees are, so half the people don't even know there's a landfill.
That's kind of why was the kick back someplace in the contract. I think we did have something saying about vegetation around the site.
Well, at one time, Mr. Chairman, at one time we were talking about vegetation and around the pond, and that's when they planted the willow trees and
Yeah.
stuff around the pond, just the willow trees and
Yeah.
stuff around the pond, just to make it look like it's woodsy or whatever. But no, it doesn't hide the hill, but your first vision of when you look over, you see the ducks in the pond and the trees in the background, you're like, oh man, that's
Yeah.
and the way they go, So it would be nice.
Cool.
to Maybe put that in their future plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan? Okay, any other questions?
Well, we're filling 3A now, but you're preparing 3B, so that's how many years down the road though, you actually start filling in B?
next year.
Next
Well,
year?
we'll build next year's set. Next year we'll build a cell. Yeah. Yep. 2023.
So that's soon already,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
but A won't be full.
We're gonna be getting. I mean, we won't be
Really?
full. We're gonna be, as we're building up here. It's right now. What do we got? We're thinking 18 months of airspace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
So
I thought that was gonna last.
He talks about just the cell, that's the footprint of the cell, but
Yep.
once he reaches a certain height, the waste is gonna be shared
Oh.
over top of 1A, 1B, 2A.
Oh, okay.
So, and they'll work towards that final hill. But it's the state law. They're not allowed to permit open space for more than 15 years. So all this is like cascaded together.
So when you get B done and start dumping, it's gonna be late 23, possibly 24, January 24. Or are you thinking it's gonna be before that?
It'll be next year,
Yeah,
because we're gonna pre-excavate this year.
so everything should be pretty much ready to
So
go for
we'll just have to
liner.
build a liner next
Yeah.
year, so it'll be
Yeah.
hopefully July that we're
Yep.
opening that one up.
22, so it might be spring of 23 before you start putting garbage.
Yeah, depending on the
So,
weather. you know.
Weather, yeah.
Yeah.
on the 3A, you say there's about 18 months left?
No, just with our, so there's 3A, 2A, 2B.
I
one-
understand
yeah,
with the
yeah.
overlay. You're talking
Yeah.
about with the overlay too? The total?
Yeah, so we still have space to fill in the other cells as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yep, yep. We're just currently filling in 3A to get, we laid a bunch of stone down in the liner and everything's exposed, so we go across and get that fluff lift in to protect it from weather and everything.
Gotcha.
So we still have another lift before we're gonna be at the height we're at. We probably have 2 more lifts to be at the height where we're at now that you can actually see.
Okay.
So that's gonna be, it took us about 6 months on this lift. So we'll probably be another, it's gonna narrow up a little bit, so it'll probably be another 5-6 months to get across this next lift. And then we'll be probably looking at going a little bit higher than where we're at now.
Okay.
Wait,
Seeing any new regulations on what, any restrictions that are coming up?
As far as the flare, not necessarily the flare, I think there's more oversight on methane emissions. And we're doing a lot of, like we just put in 12 new gas wells, so we're doing a lot to capture as much gas as we can, and improving our cap and improving the seals that we have on those hills as well to harness as much of that. Yep, yep.
Are all your turbines running?
We have 1 turbine running. We're working on getting a 2nd turbine running, and then we have 3 engines running.
You got 3 engines
And
also. Yeah.
they're bringing on a 4th. So
So you're gonna have 2 turbines and 4 engines, or
potentially, yeah.
maybe not all at one time if one's down for service? or
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Things will be switching out, but
Yeah.
potentially.
Would the engines run a generator?
Yeah, the engines take the power and they just run it right to the grid. I don't think is there a generator involved?
They are
in that?
generators.
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
So the engine, each
Yeah.
engine
Engines
running a
and
generator.
turbines.
Yeah, engines running the generator, which runs
Which is,
to the grid.
Yeah.
Do we always have 4 engines though?
3
Since,
to 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept Waste Management's report?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Not hearing any. Waste Management report stands. Any miscellaneous business? Not hearing any, we'll move on. Next scheduled meeting, August 4th, 2022, tour of landfill. Okay? Or something, and Brad will take us around and see what's going on. But you know you're also welcome to go there anytime, pretty much get a hold of them, and they'll give you a tour of what's going on. Okay? A motion to, a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.